How's it going, YouTube? It's been a hot minute since we've done a video on this, my daily driver BMW E70 X5 35D. I wanted to make this video just to talk about an issue that I've been having for the past probably 3-4 months now. And it first popped up while I was driving on the highway, and basically the car left me stranded. And so just driving along, first popped up a 4x4 light. Momentarily after, I got the half engine light, lost a lot of engine power, started slowing down, and then all of a sudden I had no throttle whatsoever. The car shut off, threw me in neutral, and that was basically it. Once I put the car in park, it was locked in park. I couldn't do anything, cranked, but it wouldn't start. So we basically towed the car to the shop. Next day we ended up plugging the car in to a charger, charging it up a bit, clearing the codes, and then it started right up afterwards. And so I started driving again, thinking maybe just bad diesel. Put some fuel system cleaner in there, fresh diesel, and all was well for the next couple weeks. Not too long later, the same issue came up while I was just stationary. I was parked, tried to start the car, and it cranked really good, but no start. Disconnected the battery, reconnected it, and then the car started right up. So at that point I was thinking, strange, maybe I'll just replace the battery. Replace the battery with a genuine BMW one. And then the same issue pops up again. I'm driving to work one time. I started noticing some commonalities between each time that this would happen. For instance, the trunk wouldn't open all the way. It would just basically open just a little bit, but then it wouldn't open anymore. The interior lights would turn off. So then what do? So then I basically started digging around the car, and I found that the ground connection was bad. That sounds beautiful. Nice. So yeah, the ground connection was bad, so replaced it with a brand new one. Same issue pops up. So at this point I'm pretty frustrated, thinking it's a DME. And then I asked around on the forums, and some people were saying, oh, you have a specific code and your code's listed. And it was the EKP code, EKP module code. And that's the, instead of a relay for the fuel pump, you have a little device that basically has the data stored on a chip, and it's a little computer controller for the fuel pump, low pressure side. Sometimes they overheat, and the main thing that you got with that sort of situation is the car would sit for about 40 minutes and then it would want to start right back up afterwards. I never had really any such issue. The only time that my car would start back up is if you disconnected the battery and reconnected it. But replaced it with a used one, reprogrammed it. If you don't program it, it'll throw you a fuel pump plausibility code. After programming, that went away. We found a post from about 6 years ago at this point, and basically exact same condition that we had. The one telltale sign that it wasn't a fuel pump related code was that if you were to try and open the trunk, it would just open a little bit just to unlock it, but it wouldn't open up all the way. It would just open part way, and then you would have to force it shut. The button wouldn't do anything. This button wouldn't illuminate. And so if you come back here, you look inside here, there's a little relay right there. And this controls a lot of stuff, including the EKP module. So bought a used one of those because I noticed that this one, the original one, its little connectivity point where it transfers the power was actually really worn out.
Nothing is clicking there, that's for sure. Yeah.
Give it a try.
Okay. So it's not clicking.
No.
Yeah.
Can I try?
Back here underneath this seat, you're gonna have your fuel pumps. Make sure that those wires aren't burnt, and make sure that the fuel pumps themselves aren't overheating. So in summary, we had a random stalling, random crank no start issue on this car. It's pretty difficult to diagnose because you never really knew when you would be having an issue. It would just pop up out of the blue. The codes were not super specific, so we couldn't really go by that. It wasn't something like a fuse, it wasn't a stone cold crank no start issue. We had to do a lot of experimenting, looking around, seeing what could be an issue. And it's not the best way to go about something like this, but I don't have weeks on end to spare just messing with this car, trying to get it to do the thing that causes the issue, and then, you know what I mean. So it was pretty tricky to get this whole thing sorted out. I didn't know that such a small little thing like a relay could cause so much trouble. If I would have had the exact same condition pop up again, I would most certainly check that relay first. But again, hindsight is 2020. It's not a very expensive part. It's not very difficult to get to it. So if you're having issues with your car stalling out, definitely check that relay. You can take it apart, put it back together without damaging it, as long as you're careful. And you can see if that relay is causing you issues. If you have a permanent fault, definitely wouldn't be going for the relay right from the get-go. I'd be checking your fuses first. And the next thing I would probably check is your ground. The ground definitely goes bad on the engine. It's not an uncommon thing. I've seen it go on multiple cars. The thing is that it seems to just help with the starting of the car. It doesn't seem to cause too many engine issues when they do go bad. Not that I've seen yet. Maybe some of you guys have seen it on your own personal experiences. But that would be the next thing that I would go for. The reason is not very expensive, again, and it doesn't need any programming. It doesn't need too much mechanical expertise. Next thing I would do, I'd be checking the battery condition, making sure that the battery is still holding its charge, not giving you under voltage codes. That's a big one. You can definitely have a lot of issues with electronics on these cars if your battery's too low. And that EKPM module, I would also be checking that out too. That's the thing, it depends on your symptoms. If you're like me and you have multiple systems going down when the trouble starts, then definitely your EKPM is not the root cause of it. You can check your EKPM and your cables for your low pressure fuel pumps, as well as the pumps themselves, making sure that those aren't overheating. Those are common issues that you can find on the e-chassis model cars. I hope you learned something from this video. I hope that it helps you in some way, or somebody at least, and we'll catch you in the next video.